Hello, all you hardcores out there. How you doing? Big P here. You know the rest, don't you? I'm into bed and we've got Liam on here from Rotherham, ex-fighter. So let's do the business. Uh, you should be clicking on any second. Here he is. Here's Liam with Johnny Nelson as his thumbnail. How you doing, Liam?
Yeah, right, pal, you.
What you on with?
Just laid in bed, waiting to take my sister to work and have kids fit day.
Go on, lad. Uh, okay. What did you think tip boxing last night, Liam? Both shows. What would you give him out of 10?
Uh, Probably six.
A six for both,
Pro-
yeah?
I think I didn't really watch the Sky one. I had to choose one, so I picked the DAZN one. They weren't brilliant, were they?
Well, they weren't fantastic, the shows, but there was the Wardley Uni fight I thought were fantastic, and the Callum Simpson, that Zucco fight, I thought they were fantastic. But as for me accumulator, Mark Jeffers cost me a lot of money, actually. But it was a
Same
very
here as well.
evenly matched fight, that, wasn't it?
It were, yeah. It were. I've only watched. I think I watched about 4 or 5 rounds of it,
Yeah.
but he cost me my accumulator.
Oh, Jeffers.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
did me like. Yeah, there's always one, isn't there? It's either a draw or. Do you know what I mean?
Every single time.
Yeah, he's a feather duster man though, isn't he, Jeffers? Do you know what I mean? So he's always good. If you haven't got that equaliser, there's always going to be that. Do you know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, what went on is his last 3 fights, he won by stoppage. So I thought, oh, he's gaining his man strength. He's
Yeah,
he's sitting down on his shots a bit more, and
mm,
obviously not.
yeah, yeah. Okay. First of all, the Barnsley show, right? The British Boxing Board of No Control. You'll be the next fight yourself, Liam. What do you make of the situation where the Mexican board of somebody's rung them up and said Chavez has been using sauna this week, and then they've got in touch with Roberto Smith. Chavez's team have denied it, and he's pulled fight. What do you make to that? But he didn't Eubank fight or Lee Purdy or there's been others, haven't there, in past?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. 'Cause obviously, I used to train with a lot of pros. I don't know. I don't know many pros that's not been in a sauna to strip a
Yeah,
few pounds. To be honest with you, I want to know who's made that phone call.
yeah, yeah. Well, people in the industry are saying that that there's been a lot of this going on to take Adrian Mole's legs from beneath him. Do you know Ben Shalom at Sky? What do you make of that?
Yeah,
You think that's true?
yeah, yeah. I think it's true. Yeah, in the Sky deal's up for renewal in it any time now.
Yeah. Well,
So
they're still in
I think
mix for it, aren't they? But it looks like they might be sharing dates and not as many apparently.
yeah. Do you know what? I was thinking about this yesterday. Do you know what I'd do if I was Sky?
Yeah.
I won't sign anybody to a deal. I just look round country
Make them audition.
yeah, exactly that. You
Now,
want you want this you want to fight on a Saturday. You want this show put on a Saturday. Let's see what cards you're going to produce.
well, exactly now. When I wait for Dennis, I don't like to go back to this, but this is how it works. He went for the ITV deal. There were Dennis sat outside room, Mick Hennessy, and Richard Poxon who'd put on, you could count the shows he put on one hand, a bit like Ben Shalom. But I think what Sky did, they played it safe with Ben Shalom, the Adrian Mole, because they knew that he'd just agreed to everything. A bit like, Poxon, because they know they're punching above the weight and they're happy to be in mix. And then the TV company have got a little bit more control over characters like that. Whereas, Dennis and Mick Hennessy, old wily old foxes. They don't want to deal with them sort of guys, TV companies now. They want it all their own way, unless they've got somebody with a massive stable, like Eddie Hills.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that's what
yeah. I
happened
agree
with
with that.
Ben Shalom. But I think as the deal unfolded over the 4 year, because I think what's happened is they've figured him out, and the rest of them, your Bricktops, Eddie Hills, and whatnot, they've just been cutting his legs off, and they've been having people behind the scenes arranging fights with him, and they've been reporting back, telling tales, haven't they? Fighters pulling out left, right, and centre, and the kid's been out his depth, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's made some bad decisions as well, especially for Fraser Clark originally. That was embarrassing. Adam Azim twice now, because if you remember, no, he's it 3 times. Weren't they
Yeah,
supposed to be fighting Arlam Eubank and then Dalton Smith, and now this?
yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, and like I said, behind the scenes, there's people whispering people's ear holes and stuck up their arseholes. I mean, we know what we all have a good idea what we're going on with that Eubank Ben situation and Spotty Frank Smith married or engaged, whatever, to Eubank's sister. Are you telling me there wasn't any skullduggery going on behind the scenes and they're all not in on it? Do you know what I
Oh,
mean, kind of thing?
yeah, they're all at it. They're
I
all
mean,
at it.
look what happened with Billy Joe Sausages and Adrian Mole, where Billy Joe Sausages were terrorising him and blah de blah behind the scenes, and he was shitting his pants and that. He was out in his depth. Could you imagine a fighter doing that to Bricktop or Matchroom?
No,
No,
no chance.
and I think
They'd be up
that's
on a
where
charge.
you what, mate?
They'd be up on a charge within a couple of days.
What Bricktop's henchmen
But,
or in front
yeah,
of board?
exactly. All of them.
Yeah, there'd be hell on, wouldn't there? Right. That wouldn't
Yeah,
have happened at Dennis's if somebody were giving it the big one on phone. Dennis would have gone, "Come see me," and it wouldn't have been very nice. Do you know what I mean? So I think with things like that, he's shown that he shit his pants. And when I look at it and I see interviews and that, they were all for him for the first 6 9 months, and then disappointing really from Horsecock and a few other people behind the scenes. Adam Smith was saying he's my little brother, do you know, when he were at Sky and all that. And Ben, I'm
yeah.
looking after Ben, I'm protective of him. But really, behind the scenes, a lot of them have been coming with smiles, but Mr. Bean, Horsecock, and a few others, they've been sticking knife on him left, right, and centre. I saw an interview with Horsecock the other day where he said, "Well, I'm all right at Sky. I were here before Ben, and I'll be here after Ben." Well, that's pretty cocksure to me because nobody's safe at Sky, mate. I can assure you now, nobody's safe. It's boxing, it's the wild, wild west. But do you think that a lot of them have backstabbed him? Big Phrase went out and stuck it to him, didn't he? He shouldn't be. You should keep that in house, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he rubs people up the wrong way, not because he's an aggressive bloke. He's a bore, isn't he? He's got no
He's
he's
on
got no
spectrum as
charisma.
well, isn't he?
Yeah, there's something not quite right. And I think at first, like you say, he were a yes man to people at Sky, but he's not produced anything. What's the biggest show he's put on while he's been there?
Kelbrook, Amir
It's
Khan, 10 year too late.
exactly. So I'll be shocked if he's still there after this renewal. But you don't know. Let's see who he's blowing off behind the scenes.
But like I said, he's had his legs cut off with boxing border control. And let's have it right. The border control wouldn't have pulled a Queensbury or a Matchroom fighter on the day like that at a football stadium show, would they?
No, not a prayer.
They
Not a prayer.
wouldn't have had the knackers to do it. So why have they done it to Sky? Well, it all point, and I don't know any inside information. I'm only going on what people in industry have told me, license holders and that. And everybody does know that Matchroom want to get back on Sky and that they're unhappy at DAZN because they're going to be playing second fiddle to old Dinted now, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I think that's what it is. I think one of Eddie's henchmen has put call into the board saying this kid's dehydrated. He's been in sauna,
Yeah.
uh, just in a hope to get that Sky deal back again.
Do you remember when Lee Purdy and Eddie Hearn went out there to fight Devin Alexander? I can't remember if it were if it were Atlantic City or New York. I can't remember which one it is, but the New Jersey Commission and the New York Athletic State Commission or whatever it is, they're both affiliated with Border Control. Eddie, right, leading up to the fight, said, "Yeah, we've had Lee Purdy in sauna to make weight, and we just couldn't get that last half a pound off or whatever it were." His dad was sat in sauna with him, wasn't he? And Eddie were bragging off about it. Now Matchroom got a fine. Why didn't Roberto Smith pull that fight for safety reasons? Why didn't he pull you putting Eubank in with that rehydration clause? I mean, they talk about safety and all that, and look what they've done to that Barnsley show. Now, there were a lot of people who went to that who were disappointed. Me inbox was chocker today. You know what I mean? They wanted to see Adam Azim.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I don't know. It's politics, isn't it? But over the last 10 years, there's been a lot of fights like that where kids have been severely dehydrated
And they've done
and
nothing
never been
about
pulled.
it.
Can you remember when Jamie McDonald boxed
Yeah,
Inuit?
oh, in
And he messed,
Japan.
yeah, It was a right angle away and he got blasted out in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, and
That
he
could have
didn't.
been that was a life and death situation, that really.
Yeah, where were British Boxing Board of Control then?
Exactly.
Tony Bellew
Exactly the point.
against the Canadian
Adonis
kid.
Stevenson.
Him were a pimp. Adonis Stevenson.
Adonis Stevenson. Yeah.
What about that? Nobody said no about that, did they?
No, exactly. That's what I mean. They can't pick and choose. It's got to be one rule for all,
Yeah,
or don't bother.
yeah, exactly. It's a bit like Roberto Smith trying to cut Dennis's legs off because he'd had a phone call from Steffi Bull regarding me and Gavin McDonald texting each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Regarding Gavin fighting Josh Whale but Gavin were the one who sent the first text. So, do you know what I mean? So I got stuck into him because that's how it goes. And he was like, "Yeah, I'll fight Josh Whale." And then Steffi went running telling tales, didn't he? Why don't they do that to other people? Pull their promoters' licenses and make them come to meetings on a Sunday morning. Luckily, Dennis says, "You're not a license, so don't worry about that. I'll wipe floor with Smith," and he did. But point I want to make is it's got to be even across the board. But they didn't do it with a Eubank Ben fight because when you're getting 4% tax of what did this 10 million or whatever, that's like 400 grand. I know they want a belt online, but they're not going to do that, are they?
No.
So it
So
just
I've had
pissed me
dealings
off.
with border control before.
Hey,
Sorry, you can say again. I said I've had dealings with border control before, right? Uh, and I don't know. Everyone says that they're the best in the world. They do brain scans and that, but I don't know. There's something.
they want to
I
keep
applied.
they
I
want to
applied.
keep the top two happy, and that pisses me off. Why don't they give Gary Sykes his belt back and do something good with it? I mean, they took all that fine money off Eubank and that, and then they took a massive slice at cake on the night. Do you know what I mean? And now they feel that they can start flexing the muscles. Well, let's see them take fighters off BRICKTOP shows when they hear gossip about saunas or Hills
Yeah,
show.
they won't. They won't do. Of course, they won't do. They won't go anywhere near it. They'll let them
Yeah.
do what they want.
Okay.
I've heard a little rumor that Eubank Ben's been made again for
Yeah.
I think it was 27th of September. So
Yeah.
let's see what
Yeah.
happens. Let's see the rehydration clauses and everything that goes on there.
Yeah. Well, this is how I look at it with that, right? You can't put Eubank or Ben in with anybody else other than themselves. It's a bit similar to Fury and Joshua, or or Joshua and White. But they're going to put White in with Atoma, aren't they? If it even happens. Do you
I
know
don't
what
think
I
White'll
mean?
box again, me.
I don't listen. Dillian Whyte's fat as a pig. He'd get put on button moon against Atoma.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
Liam,
think I agree.
I want to ask you about the heavyweight division at the moment. We've got Chisora is the highest ranked guy with the IBF. He's number two, but number one is vacant. So he's technically highest ranked IBF guy. We've got Atoma, the highest ranked WBO guy. I don't know how after 12 fights, do you?
I
And
ain't
he's
got a
not
clue.
really beat anybody, has he? But he's the number one guy. But Bricktop's the WBO guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
Then we've got Wardley. He's definitely cemented his place at the top of the WBA. And Nicola, two-weight world champion. He's the top guy with the WBC. He's icing people. So they're all affiliated like with Queensbury now, right? Fury's the top ranked guy with Ring Magazine. We all know he isn't rank with other organisations because he's saying he's retired, isn't he? And he wants to retain. He wants to not be tested and all that, and not be bothered. We can understand that. I also think Fury retires a lot every fight because Ali used to do it, didn't he? So when he fights again, you feel like it's going to be the last time, don't you? But where do you think Eddie Hills is now with his heavyweights? Because we've just seen Hooney and we've just seen Joshua in the last fights get lit up and Johnny Fisher. So Eddie's guys are getting lit up. He can't buy a win at heavyweight now, can he?
no, I think Eddie's plan is he's got one person who could possibly do something, and that's Opataya, and I reckon he's going to move him up
Well,
and try
that's
and
the
get him in.
last throw at dice, really, isn't it? Now at heavyweight, isn't it? And
That's
he's the
it. Yeah,
cruiser, isn't he?
he is. Yeah, and he's don't get me wrong. I think he's absolutely fantastic,
Yeah.
but I can't see him doing it with them big lads at heavyweight. I can't.
No, no, I can't. And do you know
Uh,
what? Do you know Wardley? I'm looking at Wardley now as like a Wilder type guy. Are you?
I am. Yeah. Last night he got beat up really,
Yeah.
and I thought if Hooney were a little bit smarter, he could have stopped him if he wanted. If he, if he stepped down on his punches a little bit more and
Mm.
relaxed a little bit more, I think he could have stopped him. But fair play to Wardley, that right hand just pulled it out of the bag, didn't he, at the last minute?
Yeah, Liam, do you think that Wardley? I'm a massive, massive, massive Wardley fan, but do you think he's found his level skill wise, but he's good, still going to be a very, very dangerous man because he's got the equaliser, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he'd beat Chisora, he'd beat Joshua. I don't think he's skillful enough to beat Atomy, but I'd like to see him in with a Coley.
Would you?
I would, yeah. I think that would be a shootout. That'd be whoever lands first, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll be two big, massive men going at it, wouldn't it? Could you
Would
imagine
be a good
Adam
fight, that.
Smith? Could you imagine Adam Smith if it went to points that there's the respect? I thought he were going to
No, it
come in
is
his
my head.
pants last night, Adam Smith. I had laptop on going, telly on go, watching both, and I was like, wow. Every now and then, I'd put volume up because I like to keep volume down now. But when it's Adam Smith, you can't help doing it just for gags, can't you? You know what I mean? Because he's
Uh,
such a little weasel of a man, isn't he?
did you hear his voice change towards end of Wardley fight?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll be hanging out at back of Wardley now. He'll just be pulling his boxer shorts up now, won't he, Bean? You know what I mean? I swear to God, honestly, what a carcass of a geezer. Him who wanted to try something else when Sky got rid of him. Hey,
I know.
unbelievable. Did you go to Terry Harper fight, Liam?
No, I watched it. I were gonna go, but I watched it, and I'm glad I didn't go. To be fair,
Woman she fought was 43, wasn't she?
oh, she was useless, absolutely useless.
Do you think Matchroom will wash their hands of her now? Why would they let Terry Harper go on a show like that if they think a lot about her? What do you think's gone on there?
I don't know. I
You
think
think
maybe
they've
all
give up
this.
on women's boxing?
I do, yeah, but I don't think this Steffi Bull saga's helped situation either. To be fair,
Well, you don't get sentenced till the end of this month, is it?
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, but you can't have you want manager and promoter have it doing all these interviews, and the next thing is up on a chuffing charge or whatever he's on. It don't look
Yeah.
good, does it?
No, no, no. Well, you can't put her in front of a camera anyway without him in background directing her what to say and all that because they're all stage questions for her, aren't they?
Yeah, but even when she's boxing, all you can hear him in corner.
Yeah.
She throws a jab and misses it by 2 inches, and he's going, "Yes, Terry, yes."
Yeah,
And fucking
beautiful,
show up, man.
Terry, beautiful, trying to shout other trainers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we know
Yeah,
what we're
exactly.
doing, don't we? Uh, okay. Callum Simpson, what do you think to his fight?
I haven't watched it all. I've just watched the knockdowns. Like I say, I picked the
Yeah,
zone show instead of Sky One. That Zucco, whatever his name was, it looked like he was quite heavy-handed.
yeah.
Uh, so
Big puncher.
I think it was good. Yeah, it was a good win for Callum Simpson.
Well, look, 28-year-old from Barnsley. He's got all belts now, every single belt except a world title. So he's a European champion now. He's already won British and Commonwealth, hasn't he? British, Commonwealth, European. He's doing it the proper way, like Clinton Woods. So you've got to
Yep.
tip your hat to him. He's Barnsley's most decorated boxer now, isn't he?
Uh, yeah, he'll be up there, won't he?
Well,
He'll be up
Josh
there
Wales should
definitely.
have had a European title. He was shafted royally, wasn't he, in France, Josh Wales. Let's have it right. But
Yeah,
that's the risk you take when you go out there on a European title fight, isn't it? But he's the big dog in Barnsley now, so let's hope that Barnsley can get behind him and they can keep getting him on at Oakwell. What do you think?
yeah, I agree, but I think he needs to get. Yeah, I think he needs to leave boxer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. Well, what do you think's going to happen with this Billy Joe comeback? Do you think he just likes his ego tickling that because it's been over 4 years now since he fought, and he's walking around like Billy Bunter, isn't he? Billy Joe sausages.
He's not coming back. Have you seen the size of him? Did you see him when he tried getting into Eubank's dressing room? He wouldn't be able to fit through the fucking door.
You know what he
He's not
had
coming back in
on?
the
He
ring.
had on what I used to wear, them baseball. I wear them now, but I could tuck them into my jeans now, my 32 waist. But when I was a 66 waist, like Billy, I used to hang them off in my belly like that.
Yeah, he's too
He looked
He's too
massive,
idle
didn't
nippled,
he?
isn't it?
Hey?
He did, yeah, look huge.
He looked like, do you know who he reminded me of? Billy Joe Sausages. I'm not just going to say Billy Bunter. He reminded me of Jeff Capes. With big beard and big old belly wobbling about and that. He reminded
Yeah.
me of Capesy. Only thing missing was a shot put under his neck. Shot put under chin and that. I swear to God, honestly. Even the other kid that were with him, they were massive. I mean, I had to laugh on his Insta when they went to Nando's after. What's all that about?
Oh God, I know.
But the
It's a bit
funny thing
embarrassing though, don't you
is,
think?
eh?
It's a bit embarrassing.
The funny thing, Wally, and for years, all we've heard is, oh, I don't drink, I don't drink. He was pissed up.
Ah, I know. I know. They're all the same.
Yeah.
Soon as they get that money, they don't know what to do with it, do they?
No. Big Ron's upset Adrian King and Curtis Woodhouse. It looks like they're going the separate ways. What do you think to that?
To be honest with you, I think it's a good move. If he can get signed with one of the big boys and get put on a few undercards,
Yeah.
that's the only way. That's the only way heavyweights are going to do it at this time, I think.
These ticket deals are not cutting it at low level now, are they? For these kids coming through that are decent.
It's too much pressure on it. Do you know, a young heavyweight, they should be fully focused on boxing and training, not
Yeah.
fucking running around their city trying to sell tickets just to cover their opponents
Yeah.
and try and get a bit of a wage to sell. It's too much pressure, I think.
I mean, I'm not hammering Big Ron here, because he'll always have a little tiny small place in my heart, even though he's got the world's worst air transplant. I think Dennis were one of the first ones to get one. In them days where they put your scalp at back and then they drag it over. Looks
Yeah,
shocking, man.
yeah.
Dennis, it looks
Like a big comb
shocking.
over.
And Dennis's teeth job, worst one ever with beech nut. He needs a beech nut in the middle of them two teeth. But I swear to God, I've still got a scar on my arm where he's savage with the twat. But point I want to make is this: these ticket deals where you can come on show, but you got to pay for opponent, you got to put something in pot. What's the point in having a manager, right? If you can't do something about that, promoters need to promote. Fighters need to fight. They ought to outlaw ticket deals so the fighters could concentrate on on fighting. Not everybody can be a Ricky Hatton, and this is where this has all started. But what people forget is Hatton's had a pub and they had a market stall doing carpets and they had signs up and pictures of Ricky all over the place. You see what I mean? They did it proper. But not everybody can copy that, and alienating yourself with a football team and all that. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's copied it, but it
It's
doesn't
hard.
always work.
No, it's hard work. I've done tickets before, and it's really really hard work because let's be right, boxing is a bit of a niche sport,
Yeah.
and not many people want to spend 40 quid on a ticket to watch one person who they know who's going to be boxing a journeyman who's had 200 fights and one win.
And
Do you
if
know
you
what I
want
mean?
them out, if you want them out 6 times a year, who can afford to keep paying 50 quid
Well,
a time, 6 times a year to watch somebody in a fucking move around?
exactly. It's nonsensical. I see why they do it. I see why they do it because obviously it covers all promoters' costs.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not fair on a young boxer.
And do you know what I don't like about it is this? Well, you got to pay for opponent. When they say, "Oh, opponent's this much," then you've got to put this in pot. And I'm thinking, opponent ain't that much. Well, we've got flights, we've got this, we've got that, hotels, blah blah blah, food and beverage. This is opponent's fee. This is what I need to cover it with board and inspection and referees, security, and all this. And then what you'll have to do with this many tickets. Then you need to do extra tickets to get your centre wage. And I think kids must be thinking, well, I'm going to be out of pocket here, but I've still got to fight.
Yeah,
It's
and not only
wrong.
that, they're training every day, they're dieting every day. They've got to pay for
Yeah.
the food and the travel to the gym and stuff. Yeah. I think if you're a promoter and you've got a decent amount of money,
Mm.
forget these ticket deals and just invest in these young kids. But I know it's risky, but boxing's a risky sport anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Max fights tonight in Italy. Max Jenkins, aka Hercules. Or Dennis says, I've changed it last night. Dennis on the phone, pissed up again. Uh, Look who it is, Porky Russ. I'm going to fill you in when I see you. I said, Dennis, let's have a misfits and get a few quid out of that job. He says, that can be arranged. He says, "Guess who I've got with me here? Hercules. I've changed his name from the breadcrumb." I says, "Dennis, Max ain't got a muscle on his body." Right, so what you calling him Hercules for? Max thinks Hercules, right, is like some big Samson, some big like John Rambo guy, but really, Max, let me just explain it to you. Hercules, as Dennis said, is a horse, but it's not a racehorse, Max. It's a knackered cart horse that's a rag and bone that pulls a rag and bone job round with scrap on back from Dennis's favourite programme, Steptoe and Son Max. So give your head a wobble. But how much do you think Max will be on tonight in Italy?
It'll be minus as well, won't he? It'll
He'll
be
be he'll
negative.
be paying he'll be paying for to fight. But I hope Max does
Oh, no.
well. But where do you think Dennis will put Max if he wins tonight in Italy?
What was record before and 1, 5-1? Won't surprise me if he gets put with Fisher.
Johnny Fisher, yeah. And how much do you think would be going? How much money do you think he'd be flying about, Liam, for that? For Max?
For Max, fucking hell, I dread to think. What
He'd
do you
be,
reckon?
I reckon. I reckon Dennis would feed him to Fisher on a comeback because if they have to rebuild Johnny Fisher, they're going to have to put him in with somebody that he can absolutely poleaxe, right? So I think 20 grand that Dennis had asked for, knowing Dennis as I do, and I think probably 3 grand for Max and 17 for Dennis.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't
I'm
it?
telling you
Is it
now,
mad?
Dennis will be fuming with this video. Dennis, I know you're watching, but that's how it works in your house with money. What you see, thing with Dennis is, he says, right, this is a pie, this is for me, and this is for you. That's how it works. And everybody will just sit there and go, cheers, Dennis, cheers, Dennis. And if they go, oh, Dennis, that's not right, then Dennis will give, I've got this to pay out, that's to pay it, that's to pay out, and just leave it with me, and we'll see how the show goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that's what's going to happen. I do think because a young heavyweight. Well, he's not a young heavyweight. He's 37, isn't he, Max? But
Yeah.
yeah, 4-1, 5-1. He'd probably be a perfect opponent for Fisher to come back to, won't he?
Well, they can't put him in with anybody who's got an heartbeat or who's got a bit about them because the kid's going to be fragile as anything in it. They're gonna have to build him back up, aren't they? But
Yeah.
I mean, Dennis had Max and Dave Allen at the same stable, and he won't put Max in there with David, would he? Because I think he really knew what was going to happen. But Max is a lovely kid, and he loves hanging around this boxing scene. But I just don't want him to get hurt, really, to be honest. And I do know how Big Ron works, and how Big Ron can sprinkle a bit of magic. But when all's said and done, he's not in the ring taking the punches, is he? Because Big Ron don't like it when you put it on him. Do you, Big Ron? So, uh, how can I explain this? Chisora Wardley, Atoma, and Akoli, they're all the top ranked guys across the main divisions now. Why are they not calling Caballel out?
Because they beat them all,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. Well, do you think even Akoli, because he's like got wicked power, hasn't
I think he beats a Coley.
he? Yeah,
I think he
Caballel,
beats a
yeah.
Coley. I do, yeah. He's got wicked power, like you said, but if he don't land, he then holds or falls into short distance, and that's where Cabiel works.
Hmm.
And I
Interesting.
think
Go on.
I think he'd stop him. I think Cabiel would stop him.
Yeah. Do you think people have got carried away with this Joseph Parker nonsense and this go to Andy Lee? Because when you look at Parker's last 6 fights, there's an asterisk next to every single one of them where there's the two small, like Jack Massey, who gave him his hardest fight in recent times, I think, Parker. Then you've got Zhang, who's a big old fat man, and Bacoli, and Wilder can't pull trigger. So do you think people have lost the shit over Parker?
I do think he's improved a lot.
Yeah.
I'll give him his dues, and he does look a lot physically stronger, and he's letting his hands go a lot more than what he did when he was boxing for that Australian guy. I can't remember his name. Um, but
Simon Keane.
I still don't think that, is that who
I don't know
coaching him?
what it's Simon Keane. I can't remember.
No, I don't think. Well, I can't remember his name.
Have a
But
little.
I still don't think he beats any at top
Oh, Opalia,
any at
what it?
top flight.
Opalia, something, what it?
No, it were. Oh, I can't remember his bloody name. They were coaching him for years, all his professional career basically, until he went to
Oh,
until he
Kevin
went to Emily
Barry.
Lee. Is that yeah? Well, that is coach. Yeah,
Oh, that was his coach, Kevin Barry. I thought you said the Aussie kid that he fought. Yeah, Kevin Barry who won a bronze medal, didn't he, at Olympics? He fluked an
that's it.
Holyfield
Yeah,
win, didn't he? Yeah,
that's it. I think he's improved a lot since leaving him, but I think Katoma beats him.
yeah.
Uh, Akole ices him. I think. Don't surprise me. Don't be surprised if in 8 9 months' time he's in with Dave Allen.
Well, this is how I look at it, right? Parker's last six. I mean, let's have it right. You go through his career. He were lucky against Huey, but it were a stinker, wasn't it?
Yeah, worst fight I've ever seen. I think.
Yeah, and then we've got this. These are his wins, right? After Joe Joyce absolutely made him quit, didn't it? Well, and smashed him up, didn't it? Jack Massey, a cruiserweight, stepping up. That went 10 rounds. Then we've got Opie Lou, who were garbage. Simon Keane, garbage. Wilder, shot to shit, can't pull trigger. Zhang, 40-odd-year-old, a fat man with a giant mole on his face, who'd been eating too much fly rice. And then we've got Bacoli, who were eating grilled crocodile in Congo, and they got him a boat and four aeroplanes out to Saudi, and he turned up 22 and a half stone. So there's an asterisk next to every single one of them. There's no roadman on his record, is there, as a win?
No,
I mean,
I think
go on.
he's
Ruiz is
got to
his
be in with
best win, isn't
Caballero.
it? Ruiz his best win.
Yeah, but that were a split decision in his own town, weren't it?
Yeah, yeah, mandatory.
Yeah, I think he needs to be put in with Caballero next, and then after that, then get a shot at world honours. But I can see him. I can see if Dave Allen don't get the Wilder fight, I think he'll be in with Parker at some point. I
Yeah.
really do. I do. Yeah, I do.
What, Dave Allen and Parker?
I can see it happening. I
Well,
really can because
strength for beating a novice who were a rugby player. Come on. I mean, people are losing the shit here, aren't they, really? I mean, come on. Let's have it right. Dave don't
well,
throw enough to hang with Parker, does he?
no, but they're talking Wilder, they're talking Joshua. If them fights can't happen, who's next? Who's next in line?
Is that
And it'll
because
be
the
Parker, I
talent
think.
pool's bare, do you think? Because let's have it right. Johnny Fisher had barely scraping to area level, wasn't he, really? Right. And Dave knocked him out. Fair enough. They had a long fight first time, but he'd done it second time. And Fisher, to me, he looked scared to death, didn't he, at second one?
Oh, terrified. As soon as Bell went, he went straight on to back foot instantly.
Yeah, but he didn't
Uh,
kick first
he,
fight, did he?
he knew. He knew before he even got it ring what was going to
Yeah,
happen.
Dave had his
And I know
number,
he did.
didn't he, really?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah, like I said, the talent pool is so thin that if you're not fighting any top 4 or 5 guys, then it's a massive, massive drop down.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad anyway
Who else?
because Dave got flogged by a lot of them at Matchroom and abused by Eddie Hills. Let's have it right. Dave Allen were abused, and I hope he can get some dough back of what he should have had years ago when they were fighting for chocolate buttons.
Yeah, I do. I think win, lose or draw, as long as he gets a big fight and earns some good money,
Yeah.
that should be him done. He should sail off into sunset,
No, he won't. No, no,
and
no, he
that's him.
won't.
That's
He'll
him.
be fighting until he's Chisora's age, David. Trust me.
You reckon?
Yeah, well, you know what greed does, don't it, to people? Because he's not going to go get a job, is he? He's not got a
No,
date
but
in him, has he? No.
you can't be taking shots off heavyweights all your life.
No, he'd be taking,
Otherwise, you
he'd
end
be
up speaking
taking
like Chisora.
He'll be like Chisora. He's already like Chisora now, isn't he? But nobody wants to tell him they're just going to keep wheeling him out. Dillian Whyte, four-time drug cheat. I always say K2, but it was technically K1. Then he were 11 and 0 as a boxer, and he got busted a 2 year. But then we had the Rivers situation, and the after that fight, and the Joshua one, which he never fought. Do you think that Dillian Whyte deserves one more big fight, or do you think that they've put him out? They've Bricktop's pushed him to one side to force this Atoma fight so we can get him smashed up for what happened at Wembley. You know, where we didn't help him promote it because he's quite revengeful, isn't he, old Dinted? What do you think?
Yeah, it's either going to go one of two ways. I think he'll never box again,
Yeah,
or he'll get smashed to bits in a couple of rounds, and then he'll be done. Either way, but either way, he's a four-time drug cheat. It should be nowhere near boxing. It shouldn't be on any interviews,
Yeah.
any YouTube boxing channel. It shouldn't be anywhere near it. I can't. Like I said in previous Zooms, it's not the only sport in the world where you can fail tests year after year and still
Yeah.
earn money from sport.
Yeah, it's wrong, isn't it? A bit like Crusher Ben, in it, getting another massive payday for millions, not even for a belt, and yet he's not won now.
He doesn't help himself, that kid. Do you know, after the fight, did you see him going out buying Rolls Royces and that, saying thanks, Chris, because he
Well, they're
failed
not
weight.
bought, had they?
But what?
The least, them cars are leased, mate. The least.
Oh, they are right. Well, he just made himself look an absolute weapon.
He's a weapon like his old man who never took a drug test after McClellan fight 'cause they got him out at arena, didn't they? So
Oh yeah,
we know what them lot are about, don't we? And the only people who are going to bat for them are them that are backing them. But and let me tell you this, right? Bricktop for 2 years was squealing about where's the B sample, but as soon as he teamed up with Eddie Hills and Saudis, we never had a squeak out of them about B samples, did we, Bricktop?
uh, wherever there's money to be made, there'll be silence around these kind of things, won't there?
Yeah, let's finish off on two sad notes. And there were, well, three sad notes. There were a girl that passed away a week and a half ago, and I forgot her name. But Mike McCallum passed away, and James Cook. Can we reflect on that, mate? And we'll wrap it up, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Um, Obviously, James Cook, I think he retired when I was about 2 or 3 years old. So I don't know that much
British
about him. I just know he
champion,
did a
won his
lot for his.
super middleweight. Beat
Yeah,
Michael
what I
Watson.
mainly, yeah, yeah. What I mainly remember about him was did he do a lot of charity work for the Murder Mile in London?
Yeah, he did a lot of charity work. He did a lot in community for nothing. Let me tell you this.
Yeah,
For nothing. All you takers out there in boxing who are hanging around like a bad smell, you know, your Sam Jones and Lee Eatons and shithousers like that. He did it for nothing, James Cook. And he got an MBE. So well done to James Cook, and he will be sadly missed. A gentleman. I got to meet him through with Dennis, Chris Smedley, Liam Cameron at York Hall, and I thought he was fantastic. Well, a fantastic fella, really nice. And James, may he rest in peace. And the other guy, Mike McCallum, what a fighter he was.
body snatcher. Yeah, I know.
Julian loves
Brilliant,
guys
absolutely
like
brilliant.
him, you know. You know him and Salvador Sanchez and you know your Holyfields, people like that, because they can fight on inside, can't they? And that.
They- and if you look at his losses, a lot of them come late on in his career.
Yeah.
He's got to be one at best.
Ever.
He's got to be in top. What you say, 15 ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Mike
He's got
McCallum.
to be, hasn't
In his weight class. Yeah, yeah. In middleweight, light middleweight. Yeah. Yeah.
he? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Rest in peace. And
He,
then the young girl that died of cancer. It's annoying me because I can't remember her name, and it's
yeah.
sad that I don't remember it. But I thought when she got diagnosed, I followed her story on Instagram and stuff. Really sad. I think it weren't even a year, were it, from finding out to passing away at 25 years old.
I know.
Terrible.
Awful, isn't it? Awful.
It's
It's a
yeah,
cruel sport, isn't it?
it's not. I don't know. It's my worst fear. It's my absolute worst fear for any of my family to have something like that.
Yeah, let me just see if I can get it up here, because we need to put some flowers on a mate. Uh, Georgia O'Connor, UK
That's
boxer,
it.
dies at 25 after saying doctors gaslit her on cancer concerns for months. Oh, it's awful, isn't it? Uh,
Yeah.
Awful. So may she rest in peace. And Mike McCallum and James Cook. And we're out of time, Liam. So I hope you're all right, and we'll have you again. We'll have you on in the next few days if you want, Liam, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. Just give me a message and we'll sort something out. I haven't been on for a while, so it's
Brilliant.
like the first time again.
Yep. All right, Liam. You take care. Have a
Yeah,
great Sunday, mate.
yeah. You too, pal. See you later.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. That were Liam from Rotherham. Women love him. Men want to play golf with him. That's about it, really. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Hopefully, we might get Terry Chappendama on today or tomorrow. All right, and rest at chaps. Kent will be coming back on. Uh, Canada Bob. We'll get Andy on as well this week as well for all you Andy's Cavern fans from Sweaty Sockland. Go on, booyaka. Peace out.